with Breath of the Wild, the game was built entirely with the mindset of taking feedback from Skyward Sword and applying that, and them saying like, okay, these are things we've gone too linear in our focus on Zelda game design. We've gotten too heavy into tradition and what our conventions are. So how can we shake things up? How can we change it? So then Breath of the Wild came out of that. And I think this is going to be the same thing where people they had such great reactions, but like, this game was great, but we missed this. And I think that's what we're going to see with this new title. And I agree. I'm hoping that big shot of a looked like a dungeon entrance, that there was one shot in there. It looked like a big doorway. So we'll see. We'll have to wait and see, though. I'm not going to say anything's for sure.
it definitely did look like a dungeon. And one of the things I'm hoping for is kind of like when you start Breath of the Wild, when you go to the first pedestal and the first Sheikah Tower rises up, Sheikah Towers from all over start to rise up. And then they do the same thing in the DLC, that all of the new shrines like start to rise up out of the ground as if from nowhere. And I'm hoping that they just redo the same thing again in Breath of the Wild 2, to where you go and you do something, and like maybe when the castle rises up out of the ground, that all of the old temples from like the Earth Temple or the Fire Temple, the Water Temple, they all just start to rise up as well. So it's like,
even just the entrance.
Yeah, it's like they were there the whole time.
Because we see the whole castle go up. Like, who knows what else could...
Yeah, and they just rise out of the ground the same way they did in...
Don't mess with my emotions, Jesse.
The first one.
Don't mess with my emotions.
And then something else that I thought like would be awesome for them to do in the second DLC, to give us more temples or whatever, if they were going to go in that direction. Like the easiest way that I've seen they could have done that is everyone was hoping to play in the past in Breath of the Wild with the DLC, because you get all the memories and then you could see all of the villages the way that they are in the cutscenes. Like Hyrule Castle Town, it's, there's all the different buildings and stuff in it that they created for a cutscene that we never get to see or play or run through, but they still exist. We just can't access them, which is sad.
Yeah.
But
I think they were meant to at one point, but
yeah, maybe
then the story changed.
But in that same way, I was thinking like an easy thing they could do, because they have the Trial of the Sword, to where you literally just put the sword in the pedestal and all of a sudden like you get taken to the trials or whatever. And there's the Temple of Time. In Twilight Princess, when you put the sword in the pedestal, the stairway... wait, is it the stairway? Yeah. But the first one, the door's open, right? And then in the second pedestal, the stairway opens.
You gotta go through the door. And then it takes you into the, like, back in time.
Yeah.
The not destroyed Temple of Time.
Yeah. And Ocarina of Time does the same thing. When you put the sword in or pick it up, you go back and forth through time. So I was thinking, they could just do that in Breath of the Wild. Like, all of a sudden there's a pedestal in the Temple of Time, and you go and you put the sword in, and all of a sudden the almost said Spirit Temple, the Temple of Time is like reconstructed. It looks great. You walk out and all of a sudden you're in the past 100 years. So I thought that would be a great way for them to do that. But since we're already talking about ideas that we want for Breath of the Wild 2, Josh, what's a major thing that you would like for Breath of the Wild 2? We'll go through and do 2 each, since I already have done 1. You can go, Josh.
I think the biggest thing that I felt was lacking was dungeons. That like it everything in Breath of the Wild, and I mean, don't get me wrong, I like the shrines, I like doing that stuff. I thought those little puzzles were fun. I thought it was great. But it kind of lacked that grittiness and that darkness that this trailer just showed us. It was like, no, Zelda can still be pretty dark if they want it to, like, and that's my biggest hope, is that we get back into dungeons. And like I said, I wouldn't mind seeing just the classic Zelda mechanics where it's like, I need the hook shot to get here. Like, I know it's been done and it's maybe I'm alone in this opinion, but like I liked being able to see areas I couldn't get to and then getting back to them, you know, after you get a certain item or whatever. Like I enjoyed that aspect of the games, because you're always keeping a mental checklist of like, oh, that's right, there was that thing that I needed, or that, you know, to be able to lift that rock that it's been blocking my path this entire time, and then you finally do it, and there's like, I don't know, there's some satisfaction to that, about like, I finally found this, I finally unlocked it, and now I'm gonna do it.
It's funny that you say that wearing a Super Metroid shirt, because that's basically the game in a nutshell. Oh, I finally got the space jump boots. I can.
Yes. Yeah.
But no, I mean, I agree. I liked Breath of the Wild for what it was. I liked being able to step away from sort of the thing. But there are some classic elements that I think were missed as well. And I didn't mind the absence of items too much, because I felt like the runes did a fine enough job replacing them, and I was okay with having fewer of those that were used better than like the spinner in Twilight Princess, where you used it like 4 times in the whole game, and 3 of those times were in the dungeon you got it. So
yeah, and there's one side quest, or it's not even a side quest. There's just like one small area in Hyrule Field where you can use the spinner to get a heart piece.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, but I think there's a happy medium to be had here, and yeah, and like you said, that trailer was dark. It was dark. Not just the lighting, not in just the literal sense, but geez, right. We got like zombie Ganondorf happening here. We got just a lot of
but it's Tingle. Didn't you watch the video? It's Tingle.
Don't say it, Jesse.
That's why Tingle wasn't in Breath of the Wild, because he was buried under the castle. Tingle was the original hero.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe
you're killing me.
All right, what was you gonna say, Josh?
But no, I mean, and that's I think it's that idea of like going on that adventure with Link. Mm-hmm. Breath of the Wild, everything felt kind of so bright and wide open that there was never much that felt like claustrophobic, or like I'm kind of in trouble here, and I've got to kind of, you know, be careful to get out of this situation, or, you know, what am I gonna encounter in the darkness, in these darker areas, in these dungeons. Like, I wanted to go underground so bad in that game, and like just kind of experience the underworld and what was there. This felt like it was all kind of just like on the surface, you know. And I mean, I'm not like, no part of me like dislikes Breath of the Wild. I think it was amazing, but no game's ever going to be perfect, right? And so I think with what they did with Breath of the Wild.
Have you played Frogger?
Is that your perfect game?
Is that the game all games are measured against? It's Frogger?
Yeah, that's it.
It's the one game to stand the test of time.
Why is this the Frogger game cast then?
Why not Tetris?
It has frog.
I can't believe
it goes across the screen. No, okay. Seriously, you go on.
No, and I think that's the big thing. It's just that going underground and the exploration that's there. There was plenty of exploring in Breath of the Wild, but it was all on the surface. There wasn't like, can I go this way? Do I need to have a torch so that I can see? Is my pathway not? I can remember one area that was like kind of dark and everything like that, but it just didn't. None of it ever really had that claustrophobic feel of like, you know, like I'm in a dungeon and this is I want to fight my way out of this, you know, or find my way out of this. Mm-hmm. The mazes, things like that, you know.
The mazes were pretty fun though, but even still, you could just climb to the top of it and just look around. It's a great place to go for hunting for guardian parts. So
true.
Yeah. But no, I think I agree. Obviously, my playtime on Breath of the Wild, obviously I'm a fan of it. So for those watching, obviously that we're not trying to dig at the game in any way. We all love the game, but it's still important to examine the things you love, because there's always room for improvement too. So before we get roasted in the chat for not liking game of the year. So, little disclaimer here.
Odyssey was my game of the year, if I'm going to be honest.
Oh, really? And Odyssey was great too, in its own way too. Like, yeah, they were both fantastic.
Amazing. It was hard to choose.
Yeah.
But I think I gotta give it to Breath of the Wild over Odyssey. But I feel like this is a podcast chat we had like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Which one's game of the year? Odyssey, Wild. I'm sure we had a topic on that one day.
No, we did. I think we have it with
I think
that was the one we had with Yellow Killer Bee, who was
I think it
actually
might
at the
have- I think it
Nintendo World
was.
Championships.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, she was. Yeah, we should bring her back on sometime.
Yeah.
Like,
no,
how was
she's
it?
too
How was
famous
it being
now.
on Nintendo World Champion twice now?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's like you're allowed to have criticisms, right?
No,
No, okay,
Not on the
sorry.
internet.
not of Majora's
Sorry.
Mask.
I think from the comments here in the
Uh,
chat, everyone seemed to hate the Korok seeds the most.
That's what I'm noticing too.
Except for Gibbs. Well, Gibbs is the only one I think is really allowed to hate him because he actually got all 1800.
Yeah. You got
900.
the original 900, and then
Yeah, then he did it again on Master Mode. The crazy bastard. So,
What?
Yeah, I never did that, but I don't have the patience.
What?
But
I stopped picking him up if I saw him. I'm like, I don't even care about you. I'm not even like, I'm not the slightest bit interested in what you have to offer me. I'm going somewhere else. Like, you stay hidden the rest of the game.
I don't know. I would still get them if I would find them, but I wouldn't go out of my way just for them once my inventory was like capped.
Yeah.
After that point, it's just like if I find him, I'll pick it up. But otherwise, like, yeah, I'm not gonna.
yeah, because it gets to a point to where like it doubles every time, right? Like
Yeah,
you need
something like
twice
that,
as
like
many
it-
to
you,
get.
you can still do it with. I think you only need around 400 to actually like cap all your inventory. So, but I think in my first playthrough, which was my most in depth, out of the, I'm on my 5th now. I obviously like this game a lot.
I played through it once and then I haven't gone back in it.
It's worth going to get back on Master Mode, I think, but just because the enemies are so much harder.
Yeah, but
really
you
get-
can't like cheat against them in Master Mode to where like you just stand on a cliff and throw the bombs at them
Right,
because
right,
they
yeah.
also like start to heal.
They
over
all
time.
heal. Yeah,
Yeah.
so you actually got to be like really fast fighting all of them. But
Yeah.
I lost my train of thought.
So
Oh
is
yeah,
it your
but-
turn, Daniel?
Oh, for what?
Or did you give yours?
My-
Like what you would want for Breath of the Wild 2?
Oh,
We're gonna do like
gosh.
2 each, I guess.
Are we? Is that how we're doing? Just give me, like any, like obviously, I think the reason I like all my favorite Zelda items, like the hook shot, things like that, are all really cool items that help you traverse the world in different ways, different and faster ways. So give me something. I'd like to see some classic items return, but I don't want just all the same items return. I think I want to see them pull out some new item
We need the candle
in that vein
from the
that
first
is, like,
Zelda.
completely new, completely separate.
The candle from the first
The
Zelda.
candle. Give me the candle, the raft, and the ladder. Link just carry those in his pocket.
Would Breath of the Wild not been a lot easier if you could have taken the raft with you, like in the first Zelda?
Sure. Yeah,
It's true. It's true.
that's a good point. Just keep
Or
one.
if you could craft your own
keep it in your
raft.
pocket.
Like, you have all that wood.
Yeah.
What are you
Ooh.
using it for?
Oh, I know what my other one is. No, just give us a village with just a blacksmith in it.
One village with a blacksmith.
Yeah, just I don't care which village, just throw a blacksmith in there. And then okay, my sword's broken. I really liked that one. Just go fix it up. Or okay, it gives you just give us like a durability gauge instead of just telling us when it's almost broken and then when it's broken. Put like a gauge on there. You can, if it's getting kind of low, you can take it to the blacksmith. He'll fix that bad boy up for you, and you're good to go.
And then find some sort of
That's-
magic powder to get the elemental weapons.
Yeah, I just sprinkle some fire dust on there, and boom, I got a fire sword. I just made that out, fire dust. And you could do chew jelly too. Fire dust. It sounds legit, right? It sounds legit. Just imagine. It's fire dust. Boom, sprinkled on. Now I got a fire sword.
Makes sense.
You could just do chew jelly. That's already in the game.
Yeah. Red chew jelly. So
I got some ice dust. Bro, that's snow. No, it's ice dust.
my last one is very simple.
Sword.
I want underwater exploration.
Oh yeah.
Because Breath of the
Jesse
Wild
wants
was kind of like Wind Waker, to where you couldn't really do anything underwater. Like you could pull stuff out of the water, but you can forget about swimming down to get it. So that would be
funny,
mine.
in that E3 trailer from 2016, there's a nice shot of Link like diving into the water, and it looks like that's what you're gonna go in there and swim around.
Yeah.
He just dove in for fun.
And then there was a lot of
Catch
people.
fish.
I actually seen people saying that Breath of the Wild didn't have the themed dungeons because without underwater exploration, you can't have a water-themed dungeon. And to that, I say Wind Waker. Because it had the Tower of the Gods. Was that the name? Where the water would rise?
I don't know if I call that a water-themed dungeon, but it had dungeon.
Well,
It
you
was
had
a
to like
dungeon with
lower
water
and
in it.
raise the water and stuff, didn't you?
Nah, it just
Wasn't
did
there
that.
more water in Wind Waker than any other?
Yeah.
Maybe all of them
Yeah.
combined.
I don't think they needed a water dungeon because it's just
It was a water dungeon.
the whole world is
True.
water.
True. All right, Josh, what's your last thing here
Okay.
before we move on to the
I'm doing two.
Pokemons?
All right, they'll be quick.
All
But
right.
All right.
for the love of all things precious and holy,
Bring back Tingle.
give me
Amen.
something to hang onto the wall when it rains. Anything.
Oh yes, yeah. I just want like climbing gloves. You put those
Give me-
on, it's like rain.
No, you
Right,
need an
and-
ice pick, like Tomb Raider.
Something,
Sweet. Sure.
something, right? Give me something to hang on. And then if we're talking about items, maybe the hook shot could be shot up the side of the mountain. You can carry yourself up or throw a rope at certain levels. Like just give me something here, because that climbing and sliding, I'm not loving that. I'm not loving that. The other thing, like what I'm curious, like I'd be okay with the swords not breaking. I'd be completely cool with that. Like I say, hey, throw lots of swords at us, give us good reason to pick up new stuff, but don't make them destructible, because that's kind of frustrating for the player, I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
It never bothered me until the Master Sword. Once the Master Sword started running out of power, that irked me. But I'd be fine with every other weapon breaking if the Master Sword didn't have to recharge its Wii Remote batteries.
Yeah,
I imagine just
basically.
Mai's voice inside being like, "Sorry, Master, the batteries have
Sprinkle
depleted."
fire dust on it. It could have
There you
charged
go.
a lot quicker.
Problem solved. But I mean, it's the Master Sword. Like how much does Link put that sword through in every other game? But in this game, the sword just decides, I need a break, man. Just let me relax for a minute before killing more moblins. Like, yeah. So, yeah, like if they gave you a plethora of other weapons to pick up and whatever, and you're all good with that, but the Master Sword was just the one in your inventory that never. It was like your pistol, you play Resident Evil or whatever, you get to pick up all these other weapons, but no matter what runs out of ammo, you've always got your pistol when it comes down to it if you need it. Except
So do you want the Master Sword to feel weaker?
That's not what I'm saying. I just want it to be fixed there, and just
I want the Master Sword to have infinite ammo. You want infinite ammo?
Yes, there you go.
But it's also one of the strongest weapons.
Yeah.
What about this? A compromise. It doesn't break, but it like goes down to like 10 damage.
Oh, so you
it
can
heals.
keep using it, but it gets weaker.
Yeah.
The regular weapons or Master Sword? Which
The
are we
Master
talking
Sword.
about?
So instead of the
Okay.
Master Sword needing to rest or whatever, it just goes down from like 30 or 60, however far you have it leveled up, down to 10. So it's still like an average to weak weapon, and you can still use it.
Sure, that's a compromise. I could deal with that.
I'm down.
Alright.
Sign me
Yeah,
up.
Awesome.
sure.
I guess
can live.
moving on to Pokemon, or was that your 2, Josh?
That was that. I mean, that was technically 3, but
It's all good. It's all good.
Okay. All right.
Also,
All right.
thank you to the 63 people that are watching the podcast this late. I don't know what time it is
Hopefully
where you
having a good
guys are,
time.
but it's 11 for me. So for all of you guys staying up past your bedtime, thank you. No, so the final time.
Hey everyone, it's me again, Elia Rose. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching this video. And you know what? If you're a fan of videos like this, you should totally subscribe and give this video a like and comment below to let us know what type of videos you would like to see us create in the future. And if you would really like to support all of us here at the GameOverJesse channel, please consider purchasing a GameOverJesse t-shirt or becoming a Patreon at patreon.com/GameOverJesse, where you can receive many rewards, such as getting shoutouts, having any topic or theory that you select discussed on the podcast or made into its own video, having your question answered, joining on as a guest on the podcast, and playing with us during our Twitch live streams at twitch.tv/GameOverJesse, and much, much more.